And first of all, I would like to say thanks to Mr. Bhavnani and Mr. Janmohan for such an insightful speech about like Startup India and starting up itself. It's indeed a very difficult task, but most of us, at least some of us, intend to do it. And like the talk with Mr. Bhavnani was really insightful about like the Startup India process, and I think that calls for a new startup itself. Like applying to that is so difficult and it's so time consuming. Like if you're doing your own startup, maybe consider that as a new idea of applying to government for recognizing yourself as a startup. So um, that said, I would like to thank everyone, Dr. Arora, Dr. Gogna, and the faculty, and everyone for giving me a chance to be here in the industrial conclave at PEC. I myself am an alumni, and I passed out in year 2000, which is like long back, very long back. And if I look back, like the last time I was on this stage, maybe it was 16 years back and doing Bhangra, maybe. So, so that was last. But then, yes, I feel pride and I really feel honored to be here delivering a talk on something which has become a focus of today, innovation, fostering innovation. So, few weeks back when Professor Gogna called me about delivering a lecture around this area, so I was actually thinking, why not give a talk about innovation, because innovation is such a buzzword these days. Like everyone talks about it. Even the tagline of PEC says, explore, innovate, excel. So that has the innovate tagline. And during my times when I was here in, 96 to 2000, nobody ever talked about it. The only reason you would come to an esteemed institute like PEC was to get a good job, or maybe apply for further studies which will eventually get you a better job. That's it. So nobody ever talked about job creations, nobody ever talked about innovations. So that made me thinking, okay, so let me try to figure out what is innovation. What exactly is innovation? And I was pondering myself, and I actually didn't have a very clear definition myself. Like, what is innovation? It is, so I thought, why not ask Google, because Google has the answers to everything today. So why not ask Google? So I did a Google search, what is innovation? And imagine 96 million results of what is innovation. And the Google's definition, like Google's itself definition, the action or process of innovating. So, didn't help. Still, I didn't have an answer to what is innovation. So, I actually had to get onto reading at least some of those results to find out like what exactly innovation means, what the buzz around innovation is these days. So, some of the results said it's creating something new. Some of us might want to agree with this, why not? Creating something new is innovation. Yes, but then what is creativity? Isn't that creativity? Could be introducing something new. Yeah, I thought this appeals to me, introducing something new, but then what is invention? Wasn't invention creating something new? At least I learned that during my school. Implementing something new? Yeah, maybe. So I went on, I got a lot of definitions. This is a very small list of definitions, but then the definitions were as huge as maybe 100 words. But still, I couldn't get like one concise definition of innovation. Something maybe that creates value. The application of ideas that are novel and useful, maybe, yeah, everything seems to fit right, but what is actually innovation? That got me thinking about the most innovative companies of the world. What are the companies which we consider are very innovative? what are they doing and why do we call them innovative? So, thought about Apple. How many of us here feel Apple did an innovation in smartphones?
Yes.
At least I do. Anyone? Great. Many of us here feel Apple actually did an innovation in smartphones. How many of us feel Apple invented smartphones? Do we know? Maybe. So, actually, the first smartphone was invented by IBM in 1992. Seriously, go Google it. The phone was called Simon, the name of the phone. So what did Apple do? So what Apple did is, actually it used all the existing technology. In 2007, when capacitive touch was available, smartphones were available, the concept of app stores was also available, but then Apple put all of them together, created a packet, and the packet actually delivered value. So that's innovation. Making maybe use of existing technology. It could be new, it may or may not be new. That's not important, but then that's delivering value. Delivering value to the target audience. So maybe that's innovation. Talk about Tesla. I know Mr. Chandramohan was talking about Tesla motors. How many of us feel electric cars is a new concept? I was in Bangalore maybe 10 years ago and Reva was running on electricity, like the battery. But then what is the buzz around Elon Musk about Tesla motors? Yeah?
It's a self-driving car.
Yes. Self-driving car is one important thing that Tesla is introducing. What else?
We can drive it on high speed, actually.
Yes. The reason we can drive it on high speed because Tesla Motors has introduced very efficient batteries, which like the Reva company in India couldn't do. So that's innovation. Making use of existing technology, existing inventions and putting them to best use. Making the best business sense out of it. So that's probably is what at least I think is innovation. Something new that delivers value. Now here, delivers value is extremely important. Otherwise, like we could spend our lives inventing new things and the most we could get out of that is a patent, a research paper, or maybe a mention somewhere. That's it. That's not innovation. Like some of you might think that's innovation, but in my opinion, that's not innovation, that's invention. But innovation is delivering value. Using all the dots that are available within your mind and then connecting them and delivering value out of it. So why do we think it has become a buzzword for academia these days? Why is it important? We're having this conclave here today to talk about innovation, to talk about startups. We're having like such awesome talks by everyone about startups. So why is the buzz around startups and innovation? Why is it becoming today such an important thing? Like when I studied here, there wasn't a talk like this. This world today, we live in a very, very connected world, isn't it? So any information is available just on the tap of your phone. Google is always available. So any data that you want to know, that you want to get, is always anytime available by Google. When I was studying, it wasn't the case. So anyone who knew more was good. Anyone who remembered a lot of stuff was actually good. But everything that is now done by Google. Isn't it? So so there needs to be a very big paradigm change here. Collecting data, like knowing a lot of stuff isn't important anymore. It won't get you a good job because everyone knows if you know a lot of things, fine. Google can get you all of that in less than a second. So why is important for every student to innovate while in college? It's because we want you to learn the skills which are required now to lead a successful life, to lead a successful career from now on, which actually means connecting all the information that you have into something meaningful. Like, what can we get out of what we know? Do we ask the right questions? Do we have the kind of critical thinking which is required these days for any job, for anything? I know so many of my friends who were kind of toppers here in PEC, and they are like extreme failures in their lives, career-wise. Like I can give you so many examples. Like 16 years after we passed out college, and people who were gold medalists, who were actually topping, right now they failed in their careers. Because maybe the education system that we knew, that we had, focused a lot more on collecting a lot of data. Like remember everything, have your exams, spit out everything and forget that the next day. Like I did my electrical engineering from PEC, and if you ask me a very simple question from electrical engineering today, I might not remember. Because I didn't apply that data all my life. I didn't do any critical thinking around it. But that's extremely required. The student of today, the people of today, in universities, in colleges, need to be competing globally. For us, it was still fine because we were still competing locally in India. But now, any other company, the technology is so heavy these days, any company can open any office anywhere in the world, wherever people are brighter, wherever people have the critical thinking, wherever people can ask the right questions, wherever people actually make sense of the data that they have. And these are the kind of people which is required in the world of today. And that's the reason innovation is important, because innovation actually teaches you each and everything. You might say this is an engineering institute and all I know is science. That's it. But not true anymore in the job. In the job, you need to be making good presentations. Nobody will teach you here. To sustain well in your job, you need to be asking right questions. Not taught here. In the job, you will actually have to understand your customer. Not taught here. So either all of you go and do an MBA after this, 2 more years, and even there, in India, I would say if you don't get into innovation, if you don't get into entrepreneurship while in college, you may or may not succeed in your careers. So I would say innovation will actually make you invention ready. It will make you job ready as well. If you don't do that, sorry. You might reach somewhere, like you might get a job because everyone in PEC here gets a job. I know that. But then will you be successful at that? I doubt. Or maybe you get lucky. So it's extremely important. That's why forget the reasons of like creating more jobs. Like at your age, for the students, like, I don't care. Like I never care at the age of 17 of creating 200 jobs. Like why would I? I would just care about myself. Like at this age, at my age now, I do care. But then at your age, like I would be more concerned about myself. That's it. So entrepreneurship, innovation is extremely important to learn the basic life skills, because that's what the world is doing. That's where all the universities, all the big ones, all the good ones are doing. So you have to do it to compete with them. And eventually, the day you are out of college, you are competing with every single university in the world. Every person. The market is global these days. So we definitely do need to think about innovation in college. I'll tell you a very interesting story here about a person called Julian Young. Go Google about it. So he was in America. He was born in a drug dealer family. So at the age of 8 years, he was given his first bag of drugs for delivery. He delivered. He grew in this whole drug dealing thing. And then he did very, very well. So he became a drug lord. By the age of 17, he dropped out of school, needless to say. And what he would do is actually figure out a new market, like find out a new market where drugs were not available to students, and then create a market, use all the social networking elements to market himself, do the sales, get the feedback, and improve on that. So he didn't know until he got a mentor at the age of 17, and someone told him that you are actually an entrepreneur. Just that you are doing the wrong thing. You are in the wrong business. You are a very good businessman, but just that the business itself is wrong. And then that was an eye opener for him. He came out of the drug business, joined back school, and today he runs very successful incubators in US. And all he does is helping people start up themselves. So that's how actually, like in academia, like many people don't even know they are doing so innovative things. In academia, the professors here, like we need to coach them. The professors need to tell them this is something you're doing which is good, and this is how you make a business out of it. So that's the power of here, being here in the college. And needless to say, you can easily fail at entrepreneurship during college. You have nothing to lose, no job, you're not earning any money, nobody is looking down upon you. So why not just do it? Why not just try it? Isn't it? So let's spend some time thinking about how does innovation occur. Sir from Punjab University just now mentioned about they've opened a new incubation center and they're looking for some funds as well. They're looking for some mentors as well. So maybe that is the goal, the ultimate goal for Punjab University is to get innovation happening from inside the university. I know PEC also has their incubation cell, and what we do is we screen some ideas there and then we kind of incubate them, try to get them funds, try to get some mentors, that's all fine. But let's basically understand like where, like in what scenarios does innovation happen? Is it sheer luck? Like people who get lucky become entrepreneurs? Maybe it's a science. Maybe it's a fixed set of equations or rules that we follow, and if we actually follow them, we end up being an entrepreneur or we end up innovating. Maybe it has no defined rules, it's an art. Some people happen to master that art and they become entrepreneurs. Everyone else keeps on wondering. Maybe it's a business acumen. Seriously, someone who really understands the market need, someone who really understands the customer, and someone who really knows what will sell to them and then create that damn product and just sell it to them. Someone who's a very good salesman, he could just sell anything to anyone. He might be a good innovator, maybe. Someone who has a lot of money, maybe. By the way, feel free to stop me anytime and then add to what I'm saying because these are just my thoughts. Some people are said to be born visionaries.